Biden is coming up on 100 days in this upcoming week. He will be giving his address to Congress. What do you think of Joe Biden's first 100 days?
I think it's been a touchdown. I think he inherited so many problems that it's hard for an administration to function, right? When an administration comes in, you want them to quote unquote start slow, right? You want to get their footing in, you want them to get their people in, and then start to get their game plan. We didn't have that, right? Biden came into a COVID crisis, an economy crisis, climate change crisis. There was a lot social, racial crisis. There was just so many different avenues that he had to attack. And what's beneficial is that Biden was the vice president, and he wasn't like the vice president in the 70s. He was just the vice president 4 years ago. So he knew exactly what he needed to do. He also became the vice president in 2009 under a bunch of different other crises, right? That felt similar, right? So he knew exactly who to call and what to do and how he wanted to do it. And I think he's been successful, right? He's been what I call no fluff, right? He just kind of goes off the cuff and says what he wants to say in the good, most possible way you could have that. It's almost the antithesis of Trump, where Trump always says the wrong thing in the wrong moment. And Biden just kind of just is truthful, I think. And if he does mess up, it's just kind of like because he's everybody's gonna mess up at some point, right? So I guess with COVID relief, with the infrastructure bill, with all the stuff he's been able to accomplish within the first 100 days, you have to call it a success so far.
Yeah, and I think he's been a success, and I think there's two elements that are at play here. I think I think the best thing for Joe Biden, and it's probably why he's the man for the moment right now, is that since he was Obama's vice president, and Obama, always would say he's going to be the last person in the room. I think that I'm not sure what the relationship was between Reagan and the first Bush, because that the first Bush was the last vice president before Biden to win, right? But I think that he benefits from having been a partner to Barack. So you know how some people are saying, well, he's doing a much better job of handling the Republicans than Obama did. Well, I also wonder though, and I'm here that he and Obama talk kind of frequently. I wonder if is he really better, or did they learn? Did when over these last 4 years were Barack and Biden on the phone saying, "Man, if we had to do over again, we wouldn't play these games." So one, I think he learned from experience, and I think some of his ability to kind of play the Republicans and work them might be because of literally what he and Obama arrived at. I also think that Trump was such a colossal idiot that the Republican base is not as strong as it was. He's doing a very good job of redefining what bipartisanship is. It doesn't necessarily mean having the Republicans in Washington being on your side. But I think that there's also a lot of the stakeholders, like, the business community and everything else, who kind of understand how messed up the last 4 years were. And I think that there's more people rooting for Biden than were rooting for Obama. And not because they didn't like Obama, it's that these are people who shouldn't be rooting for him per se because they're on the right or they're in industries or whatever. So I think that Biden is actually benefiting from also having Trump being such a colossal jerk that people are willing to kind of change their approach in dealing with some of his policy planks. And also, I do think that even if he wasn't, first of all, he is strong, but even if he wasn't as strong, I think he would be considered to be doing a good job just because he can actually complete a full sentence, and he has a simple base manners, and he's a decent human being, right? So I do think that works all to his advantage.